Guys, I don't know about specifically following the Argentina method to reduce inflation. I'm not sure. But I do know that it was absolutely beneficial specifically for that country. But my main concern is that there are already a lot of people here that are struggling. Okay. And I mean like struggling, like not even paycheck to paycheck. Their paycheck is just not enough to pay for things. Okay. And if we do kind of impose the Argentina method, let's say, it's going to get worse. And I mean a lot worse. Like it's going to get homelessness is going to run rampant in the United States of America, probably for like a year or 2 years. Things are going to get really bad. People are going to be holding on to things. But I guess at the end of the day, right? Thinking about it, like if we look at what the Federal Reserve basically has been preaching and basically wants, referring to Jerome Powell. Jerome Powell basically wants us to stop spending, right? If we keep spending, he's not going to lower any type of rates. He's not going to assist with the economy in any meaningful way, right? He's just going to make things more expensive to finance, let's say, credit cards, houses, all these things, guys, right? So what's the, I don't know if we can handle that, at least. It's just my opinion here. I'm just like brainstorming here. I don't edit anything or script anything, guys, right? I just don't know if we can handle it like as a country. I mean, I guess we could if we were to just immediately stop wasting money on other countries, right? Like that would probably help a lot. That one thing, the concept of putting America first, specifically in this instance, would be beneficial if we do that, right? But it's still going to be hard. Okay, I can definitely see that that's still going to be a thing. But what Argentina did do during this process was almost completely mitigate the concept of fraud, waste, and things like this within the government. They did that. I think they went from maybe 25% inflation to like 2%, guys. Listen, that was rough. It was a rough cut. Okay. That was a really rough cut, and people suffered for a while. Okay. And to be honest, I think that they are still, in fact, recovering from this. And this was a while ago. All right. So the United States of America would definitely kind of suffer through this procedure, guys. And I'm not sure it's going to be in like a really good way, but we're here for it. I do know that it needs to happen. We have not suffered. Okay, not really. And with said suffering, would definitely, hopefully, there'll be some like good things that come from that at least. Everyone basically voted for change. We are sick of the establishment running things, right, into the ground. This is the change that we voted for, guys. It's going to get rough. Specifically if you follow the Argentina method, which most likely is what's going to happen, guys. Right? But all right, now the name of the video is DOGE is taking examples from Argentina. This is a suggestion via a channel member, guys. Let's jump into it.
Argentina's free market president achieving an economic miracle this year, exposing its failing socialist neighbors, while serving as inspiration for the push to curb government spending right here in the U.S. The country's monthly inflation rate now sits at 2.4%. That's down from 25% when Milei first took office 1 full year ago. Our next guest says it all started by targeting waste and fraud. Heritage Research Fellow and economist E.J. Antoni joins us now. E.J., so great to have you. This is such a fascinating story. So what is the lesson of Argentina? Maybe lay out how he did it, what kind of austerity measures he took, and what's to come.
Well, Rachel, I think the lesson here is it can be done. In less than a year, Milei has cut the monthly inflation rate by over 90%. That's absolutely tremendous. And he did it by cutting excess government spending. He is rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse everywhere throughout the budget. And I think that's one of the key lessons that lawmakers need to pay attention to here in the United States. There can be no sacred cows anymore, whether you're on the left or on the right. We need to be willing to look into things like the Pentagon's budget, to go through defense spending, to go through
Number
Social
one.
Security and Medicare, et cetera, and find waste, fraud, and abuse wherever it is and root it out. Illegitimate payments are illegitimate payments. It doesn't matter which special interest group is benefiting from them.
Absolutely. That is exactly, guys. I would definitely say start with the Pentagon. Start with the White House. Start with specifically Washington, D.C. Okay? Specifically start there. Just by cutting, 20% of like the Pentagon's budget in itself would save the United States of America.
EJ, let's not pretend that this has been entirely painless. So bringing down the inflation rate has caused some economic hardship on the people of Argentina, but they're just now starting to see that they're turning the corner on that. So things kind of get worse before they get better.
Always.
Well, one of the reasons why it's so easy for politicians to get away with excess government spending is the fact that it's very much like drinking, actually, where the positive effects come first, you get buzzed, and then the hangover doesn't come until the next day. You know, the reason we have such bad inflation today, the reason we have such high prices is because of all the government spending that we've done over the last several years, all those trillions of dollars in, again, mostly waste, fraud, and abuse. So it may be painful to start sobering up at first, but that's the path to long-run health.
Yeah, no question. People are experiencing some of the withdrawal symptoms from some of the government largesse. So one of the things that's hard about doing this, I mean, first of all, I think the idea of having DOGE is going to make it sort of take some of the political pressure off of individual members, right? Because there's now going to be this organization that's going to start to direct where we're going to cut and also start to look at it. Because the hard part is every politician can say, yeah, I want to cut government spending.
They're not going to. They don't want to.
That
they don't really
project
want
gets
to.
cut in your district, then that's another matter, right?
Yeah, like, listen, guys, I'm glad DOGE is going to exist, something like that. It has to exist in this specific economic landscape we're currently in, let's say, guys. It has to. Because the people that are in Washington, D.C. running the government are, in fact, not going to ever want to stop spending, okay? They never want to do that. So they're going to push so hard against this. This is crazy, guys.
Rachel, you're absolutely right. And this is why, to your point, a group like DOGE is going to be so incredibly important. You need a third party to present ideas to both the left and the right to, again, illustrate the fact that we can't have any sacred cows anymore, right? We need to be willing to root out, again, waste, fraud, and abuse no matter where it is, and we can't let the special interests run the show anymore. That's what Milei did in his country, and that's how he was able to create the first government surplus in over a decade, and, by the way, maintain a trade surplus. That's really important for a nation like Argentina that is suffering from such low levels of foreign exchange.
Right.
Yeah.
And the ability to also pack up, basically, all of these individuals from companies coming in and being like, here, I'll give you this amount of money if you will get this bill passed, okay? Get the majority of like this corporate money completely out of the government. Start there. I would say that, to be honest, start right there. And the Pentagon.
He's attracting a lot of foreign investment because of the moves that he's making. Really fast, I only have a couple seconds here, but a big part of that was cutting government workforce. That, I think, is going to be the biggest challenge for DOGE and the Trump administration, correct?
I think that's right, Rachel, but it needs to be done. We have to accept the fact that many of these workers are doing duplicative work, and a lot of them aren't even doing positive work. They are a net subtraction to the nation's economy. They have to go.
Yeah, a lot of them aren't even coming into work. Some of these buildings are just sitting there empty because everyone's working from home, and that's all.
Didn't really expect for you to say that after listening to what this man has been saying. She just basically took the corporate route, let's say, with that response. It kind of detracts a lot of what she has ever said before now. So you're not for the people at all. She's for the establishment. But the problem is the establishment almost exclusively is going to be, in this context, right-leaning. And the establishment is on the right and the left, and they both need to go.
Also cut down on some of the productivity. So, EJ, great story, a lot of lessons to be learned. And we do know that Milei and Elon and Vivek have been interacting, because I saw pictures of them together at an event at Mar-a-Lago. So we know that there has been face-to-face conversations about this. Thanks so much for joining us. Great story.
All right, guys. I do think that the best thing for us is probably something like this, right? But it's going to be rough. It's going to be very rough. Socially, it's going to be very rough, guys. So if they do any of this, in reality, just be prepared. Just be prepared, okay? And I think Warren Buffett pretty much understood that this was coming. Hence the reason why he basically, let go of a lot of stocks so he can get some type of liquidity in his savings, let's say. So when this does happen and people are basically desperate to start selling whatever assets they do have for 30% of whatever it's worth right now, let's say, he's going to buy up everything and become even richer. That's the reality of what's happening. I do see a lot of people that are in kind of the finance world, at least, looking to doing the same kind of similar things, to say the least. They're trying to get up some liquidity. Look at the Walmart stocks. Look at the Waltons, right? The liquidity, because they know something is coming. But all right, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly.
This is my lightsaber. Hey guys, you guys subscribe to the other channels? Logical Movie Reviews with Mr. L. Boyd, along with Mr. L. Boyd Music. Oh, also, Mr. L. Boyd Discusses. Guys, check it out. And if you haven't heard it today, you're amazing.